Amy Bach, the ringleader behind the $250 million Minnesota fraud scheme tied to the nonprofit organization Feeding Our Future, reveals during a jailhouse interview that she struggles to believe that Ilhan Omar wouldn't have known about it. Omar's name appeared at least 6 times in this fraud case, according to federal court documents. Okay, this story, I think it was the New York Post that had it. I am like kind of just, I wish Jason was here because he always brings this woman up. But the stuff she said was so alarming, Daniel. First of all, she had 6 email exchanges with Omar, okay? She mentions that in, I think, one of her quotes, she says that there's like 80 to 90 people that have been charged. She's the only white one. She also noted that in a 2021,
card, right?
well, in a 2021, and she's facing like 100 years. This is pretty serious. In a 2021 email, she flagged fraud. Some restaurant that was allegedly, Terry, you'll like this, 21,000 meals a day, was making 21,000 meals a day. She flagged it, and she was told, I guess, in response that they don't handle fraud.
Sounds like a Jose and Trace, you know, when he's feeding kids abroad during war, they crank out those meals.
But if you're flagging fraud and then you end up being, you know, charged in this fraud scheme, isn't that part of the problem? Wouldn't that be part of her defense? Like showing the emails where she's been alerting some people to like, how is a restaurant making 21,000 meals a day? Yeah,
just because you're like alerting fraud doesn't mean that you may not be, that you're not also part of the fraud. And so, you know, that might have been cover that she was doing. But I think that this is very troubling for Ilhan Omar about to try to address this issue. She hasn't, you know, she doesn't want to testify about this. And so a lot of people think that, you know, she's being pretty evasive here. I do think that Republicans have to they have a balancing act that they can't make this entire midterm election on fraud, but as a base turnout scheme, I think it does work.
I know Terry and Matt, you guys are both dads of a lot of kids, so you know, might make a lot of meals in your house, but 21,000 a day? I mean, like, how crazy is that? How does that not, like, jump off the page that there's fraud going on here?
You know, the sad thing is, I'm afraid it's the tip of the iceberg for the fraud that goes on with the trillions of dollars we spend in our government. So a little bit of oversight would go a long ways. But the good news for the Democrats, they can always just change the rules.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.